York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC. Plus, that some chickens lay white eggs and others lay brown ones.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Knick Of Time Show. Here to give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about a Knicks win, so we're getting those gunshots together. The Knicks dismantle the Detroit Pistons in the home opener. All right, home opener, 130 to 106. And you know, everybody got into the action. RJ Barrett gives you 18 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1 block. Randle is on his apology tour, gives you 15 points, 6 rebounds. Jalen Brunson, 17 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, and the second game in a row with 0 turnovers. Obadiah gives you 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Derrick Rose gives you 13 points, 6 assists, and the hated man, Emmanuel Quickley, gives you 20 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and has the highest plus minus in the team. We're going to talk about it all. Before we talk about it, first hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification bell to know when we here talking Knicks. But also, you already know what it is. I have to introduce my guys. First and foremost is the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G in the building. Big win by the Knicks. We outside.
We outside. And of course, you know, it's my man, the Latin assassin, Mr. Lee Escobedo. Nasty Escobedo. Shout out to Lee. And hold on. New title, guys. New title. KOT officially has an ESPN contributor on the show. What other show can give you that?
Representing for all my fellow hood rats out there that came up from the bottom. You know what I mean? Growing up in trailer parks and government housing. We're here, baby. We're here.
Exactly. Started from the bottom. Now we're here at KOT.
Yes,
KOT is the top if you didn't realize. All right. But shout out to everybody. Big win. And shout out to my chat. Thank you for being patient because we had a lot of technical difficulties, man. A lot. But we worked through it. But shout out to Greg. Shout out to Kerry Cox, Pudge NYC, Winston Ellis, my real fake cousin. Shout out to you, Keith Watkins, Joe McGyver, my guy, and Morris, who was here in the chat earlier, and everybody else who's rocking with the KOT show. Now, let's get to it. You know what I loved about this win, guys? I know it was a Knicks home opener. It was the good feels, and we blew out a team, and we actually had 130 points, and we had like 29 assists. But what I really loved about this team is the tone set, and it seems to be a transition in philosophy. Leon Rose at the end of the year talked about leaning into the youth. The youth wasn't even on the trade block. He saw we chose youth over Donovan Mitchell. And today, what I saw was the youth playing in that third quarter. Usually, guys, when Tom Thibodeau sees any sign of trouble, he's quick to pull a whistle and he's quick to get the young guys out of there. But today was not the case. He rolled them out. He rocked out with the young guys even when it got a little bit shaky. And that's something we didn't see all last season. So shout out to Tom Thibodeau's growth. And also the fact that Julius Randle did not hustle back on defense in the first quarter. And Tom Thibodeau blew that whistle. got the troops together and got them back out there. And I'm like, all right, are we holding Julius Randle accountable in 2022? Is that the feels we getting? Are we getting a new coach who plays the youth and holds Randle accountable at the same damn time? I'm loving it. I'm loving this new era and this new feels. It sounds like it's a new beginning for us, regardless of wins and losses. It feels like a new philosophy. I don't know. What do you have to say about that, guys?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was definitely impressed with the minute distribution. I think nobody played over 27, 28 minutes, which is amazing. And like we've said, you know, coming into the season, if you really want to play the way Thibs wanted to play, which is to give your all on both ends of the court, you can't really have players playing 35, 40 minutes. It's just going to tire out.
Right.
You know, you do need a rotation where, you know, probably your highest minute guys like 27, 28 minutes. So I'm glad to see that Thibs has adjusted, you know, the minutes he plays, guys. And yeah, like Thibs definitely showed that he has grown, because even in the fourth quarter, like I saw the lineup out there. I was expecting Julius Randle to come back in the game. I was expecting Mitch to come back in the game, etc. But nah, he's stuck with Toppin. He's stuck with Art Hardenstein. He's stuck with the guys that increased the lead going into that fourth quarter. So there's definitely a lot of positives to look into so far this season. And I think one of the major positives is Julius Randle, because yeah, you know, Julius Randle had that little brain fart early in the game where he didn't get back on defense, and Thibs called timeout and got the troops together. But besides that, like Julius Randle so far, like it looked like he's out of his head. And like Julius Randle's doing things this season that I did not see from him last season. Yeah. He's cutting to the basket, getting easy baskets, and having people find him under the basket for easy shots. He's actually paying more. He's actually more aware now. He's bringing in double teams. He's passing out to players. I mean, yeah, there was a couple plays like that play where Brunson was in the corner and he was wide open. And Randle hung on to the ball. I was like, Randle, come on now. But for the most part, you know, Randle's definitely looked like he's turned around his game, man. And yo, like last season, two of our biggest Achilles heels were Thibs and Randle. And if those two guys get it together, this Knicks team is going to go places.
Preach. My bootleg Fire Stick was going in and out all game, so the second and third quarters were choppy for me. I didn't see a good, consistent stream from my TV. But
this is why you need Fubu TV, all right?
Anyone who is a lonely, depressed Knicks fan, and has been for quite a while, like myself, has gotten used to that first quarter, no matter who's a coach, no matter who's on the roster. We're always down by 10 in the first quarter. That has been the status quo for the last couple of years, and that's no longer the case. And the reason for that is Thibs is instilling the defense, but man, Jalen Brunson is smooth with the rock. He gets the offense going. There's no learning curve with Thibodeau's offensive plan. He knows what it is. It's ingrained in him through his father, through his relationships. He knows what to expect. He's getting guys involved and making sure that the ISO play is limited, unless it's him taking someone off the dribble and cutting to the basket to either find a shooter or get an easy bucket inside. I love how Jalen Brunson's calm, cool demeanor is not only keeping us from having a 10-point deficit, but maybe we have a 10-point lead going to the second quarter, which is a great difference for me.
Yeah. And I feel like Jalen Brunson's personality is starting to trickle through the team. Last game, we saw RJ Barrett start the game off, and he was going to the hole a lot. He wasn't really, I feel like sometimes he forces shots and overdoes it. This game out the gate, first few minutes of the game, boom, 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 3 assists from RJ Barrett, perfect passes. And in general, this team so far, 29 assists this game, 28 the game before, but this is 29 assists in regulation. So this is a different animal. And so it seems like the philosophy is sharing the ball and making the right play is really permeating through this team. And RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle all kind of setting a toll. So you gotta love what is going through this team. The chemistry seems like it's being put together, and you don't want to jump out the window because it's still a Pistons team and it's a low-level team. But at the same time, when you combine this with what happened with the Grizzlies, you start to think, well, maybe this is an identity. Maybe this is an identity. But I still want to see more. But this is a very good sign from this team, and I hope that this is the identity of our team moving forward, because this is beautiful, beautiful basketball.
The three of us had a lot of really in-depth conversations before the season started about what would the Brunson impact look like on the court. And what I love about it, and I said this, he's not come into a situation where he has to do everything. He's got to play 35 minutes. He's burnt out by the fourth quarter. The point guard, I think we had the best 3-guard rotation from the bench and third string in the NBA for 3 guys that play the majority of the minutes. And what do we have? Jalen Brunson, 6 assists. Derrick Rose, 6 assists. Manuel Quickley, 7 assists. What more can you ask for 3 guys that are handling the ball the most and facilitating the most? That's nice distribution. No drop off, no matter who's running the show.
And you can't really say that the whole time. And I'm going to say this, guys. I'm going to say this. Preseason is preseason. The regular season is the regular season. Just like people were ready to throw Cam away with the bathwater in preseason, and then he has one good game, and everybody's back on a Cam track. I'm watching Quickley struggle in preseason. In my mind, I'm going, I know how this movie goes. I know how this movie goes. Quickley's going to struggle, and then he's going to get it back, and then people are going to start to backtrack. So I'm letting you know, guys, right now, this conversation is about trading Quickley and all this other stuff. Skirt. Let's wait. Let's wait until we play more games to see what we have. All right. We have 4 games that didn't count in the preseason versus 2 actual games that happened this season. Let's wait a little longer before we start talking about who's expendable, who's not, who can't shoot, and who's not. And there's a lot to talk about, but I really want to talk about the second unit right now. All right. Second unit, Mobb Deep came to play, and Quickley has been struggling for sure, but the tone for Mobb Deep today, and shout out to Royal Coin that called that name Mobb Deep, was set by Derrick Rose today. It was set by Derrick Rose. I do feel like the first unit, when matched up with the Detroit Pistons first unit, it was going back and forth a little bit. I'm not sure if the defense was all the way clicking as of yet. The Pistons were kind of pushing on every miss, and I felt like he was keeping up, but it was a little of a seesaw. But by the time Derrick Rose in the second unit came in, that's when the pedal went to the floor. Derrick Rose is still valuable. And what I liked about him is he provided that dribble penetration, shot making, and also I kind of like that, Quickley finally started to passing the ball and be more in control and did more passing than shooting to start the game. And Derrick Rose delivered on his shots, on his 3-point shooting. So kudos to Derrick Rose for setting the tone, and kudos to the second unit for really, putting their foot on their neck. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Ryan.
Yeah, the second unit definitely played good today. The thing with Rose and IQ is, when you have both of them on the court together, it's kind of like IQ is that wild child, and Rose is that guy that kind of like stabilizes that second unit. But when you have IQ actually stabilized, with Rose actually stabilized, that makes a complete difference in the backcourt. It makes them a dangerous combo in the backcourt, and that's what happened tonight. Both of them were dribble penetration, finding open shooters. And I love the fact that Quickley came into the game, and he didn't come into the game just looking for a shot and just jacking up, ill-advised shots. He came into the game actually trying to get other players involved, and he allowed himself to get into the feel of the game. Then once he got into the feel of the game, then that's when he started getting his shots, and then they were dropping for him. So yeah, the second unit definitely played like mob deep tonight. You know, I'm back on the Cam Reddish, you know, hive, you know, Cam, but tonight he did have a couple of ill-advised shots in the fourth quarter that I didn't like. You know, but overall Cam did have effort on defense. So, you know, I'm not gonna be too hard on Cam because he did kind of save us in the game against the Grizzlies. But yeah, the Knicks second unit definitely came out to play tonight. And this is what we expect from them. Last season, it was the same thing. That was our bread and butter, that second unit. And this season, with the way the first unit is playing, and then you have the second unit playing like that, the Knicks are gonna, like I said, the Knicks are going to surprise some teams this year if they continue down this route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we as Knicks fans can be a little impatient, and we want it all now. But these are kids. Like, these are 22, 23, 24-year-old kids. They're highly affected by having a good game. They're highly affected by their mental state. They're riding the wave of confidence and the dips of confidence. And that's starting to show in the box score. And I think this was a game where some of the players that we thought we had pegged them into a certain role showed us a little more of their game. We've always known that Obi Toppin has been a good facilitator. He has been since his days at Dayton. And he gave us 3 really nice dimes tonight in 21 minutes. And I think Hartenstein, we've known about his playmaking, but I thought his rebounding was really solid. It was a much better rebounding effort this time, that his minutes weren't extended and he wasn't gassed by the second half. He was able to hit you with 4 offensive boards. So I think there's other areas of these bench mobs game that won't be untapped until as the season goes on and their chemistry and confidence rises.
That's a good point. I'm pulling up the stats right now. Hartenstein with 6 points, 11 rebounds on the night. So good job by Hartenstein. And Obi Toppin with 16 points, 4 rebounds, a little light there, and 3 assists. But the thing about Obi Toppin, and I keep saying this to people keep trying to tell me Obi Toppin can't shoot. And every time they say that, I'm just like, he's a rhythm player. He's a rhythm player. He's a guy who he's like an old person on a treadmill, right? He starts to get going and then he starts to feel things and then he gets smooth and now he's in a rhythm and now he feels comfortable. You can bet $5 every time Obi takes a 3, that first one is going to be an air ball. Like, like FanDuel, DraftKings, first Obi 3 is always going to be an air ball. But if this man keeps playing, you start to realize that the more he plays, he kind of calibrates the rim. And now that next 3 is getting closer. Now that next 3 is rimming in and out. Next thing you know, you're looking at his box score. He's shooting 7 of 12 from the field, 58%. 2 of 5 from 3, 40%. And then all this Obi can't shoot stuff starts to go out the window. So Obi just needs time and he needs minutes. And kudos to Tom Thibodeau, who gave Obadiah, the son of Duncan's Delight, 20 minutes today. I'm loving it. And shout out to the front office.
Shout out to Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
Because I know in my heart, the front office was going in on time in the offseason to play these kids. And I feel like the message is going through the dome. The message is working. And I'm loving the results of that right now. I'm definitely loving the results of that.
To your point, and I don't want to be knee-jerking myself, but I think at some point in time, and that time being as soon as Grimes is healthy, my man needs to start. Evan Fournier is a solid player.
Yeah.
He brings a lot of intangibles, but I don't think he brings it to the starting unit. That Brunson Fournier duo, there's of all the starting lineups looked really good. Me and Ryan were talking about this, texting each other. It looks really good, but I think Fournier is the odd man out. The chemistry is there between Mitch, Randle, Brunson, and RJ. Fournier, I think, would be better suited off the bench to where if he brings it and he's hot, let that flamethrower swing, like hit those threes. But when he's not hitting at the starting unit, he brings nothing on the defensive side, and his playmaking has not been there thus far, even going back to the preseason. To me, it needs to be Grimes or Quickley at that two guard spot next to Brunson to bring a little bit more on both sides of the ball. Fournier I like him. I'm not a Fournier hater, or I'm also not in the hive.
Right.
He should not be started.
I agree. And it's funny because I did my a first like Knicks game preview today, and I kind of talked about the fact that Jaden Ivey, that speed demon, might hurt us at a certain point because that matchup between him and Fournier, or even him and RJ, isn't really favorable for us. And I feel like that's a lot of reason why Quickley might have got a little bit more burn today. If you look at the minutes distribution, Evan Fournier got 19 minutes. Quickley got 27. Evan Fournier, once again, is the odd man out. And I think Quickley and McBride really are the people who might have the speed to kind of hang with Ivy. Not to say that they're as fast as him, but they have more of a prayer. And I think we start to see that a little bit later. But God bless him, Fournier. 3 of 8 today, and can be a good spot shooter in spots. But you're right, Lee. We need Grimes will be welcomed back here. Grimes will definitely be welcome back here for sure.
And Quickley played good defense tonight too. I was impressed with Quickley switching. He kept this man in front of him most of the game, the 2 quarters that I saw.
Yeah, Quickley defense has always been underrated, and I was happy that Tom actually mentioned that earlier in the year, how underrated his defense really is, and he's done a good job. He got caught sometimes guarding Bogdanovic, a much bigger player, but overall, Quickley's defense has always been good. 75th percentile in pick and roll defense. Kind of does pretty well guarding bigger guys, sometimes on switches. So he's always going to put together the effort.
Mm-hmm.
For real. And speaking of shorter guys, the Jalen Brunson Cade Cunningham matchup is also really interesting. Because you're looking at Cade, this guy is 6'6", and he's getting his ass handed to him by a 5'11" dude. And it's like, man, his experience is really on another level. It really is. It's like this team looks good on paper, but in actuality, our guys are done well, man. They've done well to outclass these guys. Gotta love JB, man. The general. Somebody called him our CP3. He might be, man.
Yeah. I did want to say something in regards to Fournier, though, because I'm on board with Grimes starting for Fournier in the starting lineup, because I do realize with Fournier and Brunson in the backcourt against speedy guards, it is a problem guarding those speedy guards, because Ja Morant basically killed them, last game, and Ivy kind of went off on them as well. But this is one game where I don't think Fournier's defense was terrible per se, because I think Fournier does okay if he's guarding guys like Bogdanovic, who they're not really speedy guys, and they're guys that are more visionary and they're just shooters. Like, I think Fournier does okay against guys like that, and at least from what I've seen, for the most part, he was guarding Bogdanovic. So I was okay with Fournier's defense for this game, but of course, in the grand scheme of things, Grimes to me would be a better fit in that first unit, because that's going to give you one extra defensive guy, and Grimes can still provide the shooting that Fournier does.
That's a good point. And I think Fournier has some built-in chemistry with Kemba last year when they first came in town. They had a decent 2-man game that translated over from their time in Boston together. And Fournier was a little bit more of a playmaker. That's a Kemba. And Kemba was more like in the corners, hitting threes and spot up. But next to Brunson's too much of an on-ball dominant player. Fournier doesn't have a chance to really do any playmaking. He just really is a spot-up shooter and just like firing threes from the corners. It's not really his most effective role. He would have more opportunity to be more on ball if he came with the second unit.
And also, too, what's interesting? There used to be like a heavy shot diet of Evan Fournier running like that little curl play with Julius Randle, and Julius Randle would screen his man off, and then Evan Fournier would catch the ball and shoot it. I saw it today, and then like a light bulb went off. It's like, wait a minute, this is the first time they ran that play between preseason and the regular season. That's the first time they ran that play this season, straight up period. So Evan Fournier is in a place right now where he's now trying to find out where he's getting his shots from once again because of the flow of the game. But it's interesting. I like the way the shots are being distributed though, because at halftime, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Jalen Brunson pretty much had equal amount of shots taken at halftime. So, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. It's working. It's working so far. And the other part of it is RJ Barrett still has not really hit a jumper. He hasn't really hit a jumper yet. He did all his damage, fast breaks, going to the hole and finishing at the rim. And thank you, God, that he started to finish it today, because I was getting a little bit worried. Second game, I was getting a little bit worried. But today, RJ Barrett 8 of 15 from the field, 53% from the 53%, 0 for 3 from 3. Hopefully that comes back to him. But overall, I liked his game, and I liked his efficiency, and I like that he's like, you know what, screw this, I'm going to the hole, because that's what's working. And I love that he actually finished, and even his technique. He's getting to guys' body a lot more, something he really didn't do last year, and I think it's helping him finish a lot better, at least today. So shout out to RJ Barrett.
Yeah, don't forget the assist. Don't forget the assist.
Oh, don't forget. No, me ain't forgetting the assists. He had 4 assists today. I want him to get 10. I wanted him to get 10, but he ain't played enough. That's fine. I like the assists he got in the first quarter. Salute to the chat though. If you're loving the show so far, you want to celebrate the Knicks win every time with us, the exuberant KOT show, the KOT fans. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you know the next time that we are live, you can be live with us. So definitely do that. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Be Civilized, Nick Yak, Kerry Cox, Pudge NYC, Margaret Edwards, East Blue Drew, JT Reddick, Sanfroid 929, and everybody else is rocking with the KT show. And definitely the likes help us. It helps push the algorithms up, helps push us to the top, and helps us be seen. So please, super chats are welcome as well. But if you don't have super chats, hit that like button. It's gonna help us a lot. All right. The likes like us too. All right. And also, if you do want to call in, you already know what to do. Dial that number, 319-527-6241. That's 319-527-6241. Oh yeah. Someone said Knox played good. Man, no Knox revenge game today. Knox revenge game is dead. I'm sorry. No Nerlens Noel revenge game. I'm sorry. All that is dead.
Yeah,
fellas,
you know what?
I want to ask y'all a question. Julius Randle is on the uptick. Tom Thibodeau is playing better. Lee specifically, because you were waving the flag of the Julius Randle Man Haters Club.
Yeah.
Given his performance so far, if this continues into trade season in February, are you still trying to trade Julius Randle at this point?
Absolutely.
He said it without hesitation.
Didn't even flinch. You want to think about it?
No, because my mouth drools when I think about Julius Randle being shipped off to a team for 2 first-rounders and maybe a young player and some inspiring contracts. That to me is too salivating, man. Like Randle is playing great. 0 turnovers today. The team as a whole had 12 turnovers. Game 1, they had 12 turnovers. They've been playing under control, very minimal Randle ISO, which I love. And I love his enthusiasm. He's talking to the guys out there on the court. He's really cheering them on, which you haven't seen very much last season. Yeah. His attitude has been primo. But if his value starts to rise, how do you improve his team positioning? We talked to Ian Bedley about this. What position are they going to go after? You have to think about who has cemented their position as of now. Brunson's our 1, RJ's either our 2 or a 3, Mitch's our 5. It's either the 4 or the 2-3 that we're going to go out to get a superstar to finally give us a real first option. And I think Randle needs to be shuttled off so we can go out to the 2 and start Obi Toppin at the 4. And Randle becomes that piece that gets us either the assets to get that superstar or the superstar themselves. So you're asking me, do I still trade him? Hell yes. Because, as good as Randle is, he ain't leading us to the promised land.
What if I told you, maybe it's not a hell yes, but if he keeps this up, it's maybe more about the deal than get rid of him. Then what would you say?
I was just about to say that too.
Yeah, it's always about the deal. I was not an advocate for booting him out of town if the return is 2 second-rounders and a horrible contract. I've never been an advocate for that in any of my writing. But if the deal is sweet and we actually get back either deal equivalent to or better than what we got for KP, pull the trigger.
Because I think you have to consider that it's 2-part question. Like we said, is Obi going to play well? Is Obi going to keep this up? I think today was a good sign from Tom Thibodeau that he actually kept Obi in the game while he was playing well to really see his impact on the game. So I think that's one part, and we talked about this before. But then it's like, all right, we trade Randle, our best rebounder. What are we getting back? Are we getting at picks and cap relief? Or are we getting back an impact player at the wing?
Either. I'm 100% on either. It really depends on where the picks are coming to. I don't want picks from a team like Denver for 2024 and 2026 when I know Joker's still going to be there under contract. But if it's 2027 and 9 or 8 and 30, like those picks are a little bit more interesting to me the same way that the Lakers are in those late round draft spots. But it's really about the situation. And Leon Rose has shown he doesn't get fleeced. Every trade that he's made, I think he's been the winner on that trade. So I think that if it comes about and there's a really good one that makes us better either right now or 1 or 2 years from now, he's going to pull the trigger on it.
All right. I don't know how you feel about that, Ryan. For me, I want more time to see what's going to happen with Obi and Randle and chemistry. I always want more data, personally. Well, how do you feel?
Yeah,
about that?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not quick to say that I would just trade Randle like that at the trade deadline if he keeps it up, because I need to see first. Because like you said, Obi didn't have such a great first game, but he had a good game tonight. So it's like I just want to see if the consistency is there first from Obi. If I see the consistency there from Obi, that's number one. And then on top of that, if I can somehow manipulate Randle into getting that bigger piece, meaning a player that's going to come in and he's going to transform the team, then I would be like, okay, I'm comfortable shipping off Randle at that point. But I'm just not going to ship him off just for any old thing. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
It definitely depends on what kind of deal are we going to get for Randle. At this point, he's helping out the team.
Yeah.
He's being a productive piece.
Yeah.
So his value right now, to me, in the Knicks' eyes, is high, which means you do not let that player go unless it's a deal that's going to definitely help the Knicks. That's the only way.
This guy, Randle, is high-fiving people coming in the game. When did that happen? Has that happened at all last season? This man has really turned over a new leaf for real.
Yeah. You also have to be prepared. If you trade him, you are going to suck. And the fan base and the front office and the coaching staff needs to understand that the reason that our offense is so fluid right now is Jalen Brunson, number 1, and Julius Randle, number 2. The fact that Julius Randle is going and deferring more and trusting his teammates more and not isoing at every possession in the half court, that's a big reason of why we had the momentum we do on offense. And if we get rid of him, we're going to suck for at least the rest of that season and maybe the following one. But you're going to suck when you have the potential to have 5 first-round picks. That's not a bad position to be. I'm just saying, there's pros and cons, I think, to both sides. If we kept him for the rest of the season, I'm not gonna be crying. But if we trade him for a good draft pick capital and maybe a solid rotation player or a future star, hell yes.
best case scenario, right? For everybody included. Say we do actually trade Randle and we get draft capital back, I know a star back, and then we look at Obi Toppin, and Obi Toppin ascends to another level as the starting power forward that we envision, giving you high flying dunks, averaging 20 points a game, gets his rebounds up to like 9 rebounds a game, starts at threes, and now he's like a all-star type of player. Then it's like a win-win for everybody, you know.
Yep.
Then that narrative that we wasted the pick on OB, just it goes away.
Yeah,
it goes away, and all of a sudden, the front office looks like a genius. So I'm gonna revisit. With you guys in the chat and the fans. I'm gonna keep asking you guys as the season goes along. Chat, how do you feel about Julius Randle now? Chat, how do you feel about Julius Randle now? Are you starting to change your mind? But all right, let's go. Shout out to the chat. If you like the show so far, hit the like button, subscribe button. I saw we got some super chats in too as well. So I'm gonna get to those. Let's see. Computer's freezing up a little bit. Ryan, can you see the super chats?
Yeah, I can. Okay, I'll go up. I'll read them. Let me see.
Oh, here you go. Oh, I got one. Here we go. Shout out to Nev the Disruptor, who sends a $5 super chat. He says, panel, Fournier's defense is much better than JR, Julius Randle. Are you guys not able to see on JR's deficiency because we have a lower expectation of Fournier? Is Fournier's defense worse than Randle's? I wouldn't say that. No. This year. I would say when Randle didn't go back on D and Bogdanovich got a layup. Bogdanovich is kind of cooking today. I'm not gonna lie. I think that was the issue. But I also feel like when Fournier was on him, he was cooking Fournier too. So I don't know. I feel like they both were kind of iffy on defense today. That's my opinion. And I'll rewatch the game to get more definitive answer. But I feel like both of those guys are getting cooked, and Fournier more so. What do you guys think?
Well, like I said, I didn't think Fournier's defense was terrible tonight. I thought it was okay. You know, yeah, but Randle didn't play the greatest defense tonight. I know that as well, but I thought Randle's defense was okay as well. I didn't think neither player played terrible defense tonight, but I think at their best on defense, Randle is definitely a better defender than Fournier when they both are at their best.
Right. And for some reason, the first super chat disappeared. So I don't know what happened. But I don't know if you're still in the chat. But the first super chat disappeared. I'm definitely trying to look for it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It literally like disappeared. It's like, what? I'm sorry. I wanted to shout you out and give you your props. I'm gonna keep looking for it, but we can move on to the last topic I actually want to talk about, and we kind of talking about it behind the scenes. Tom Thibodeau's job security. I know you guys was kind of talking about this behind the scenes. Has your view of Tom Thibodeau shifted? Because last season we was talking about firing this guy. And now we're looking around and we're talking about he's doing a good job. He's playing the youth. I already felt like he's been a bad X and O's coach, but I feel like he's a really good teacher. But I just felt like he has to trust that what he's teaching the young guys is actually going through. And what I've seen in the first few games is really good out of bounds plays first. And then him actually starting to play the youth. Oh, we played 20 minutes today, and starting to trust them. Has Tibbs turned the corner? And are you actually happy that we kept him?
I'll say this. It's funny because last season, Thibs was basically on the block. The way he was coaching the team, the way he kept on relying on the vets, even when the young players were playing good, a lot of us had enough of this guy. We wanted this man run out of town. We wanted the backup coach. What's his name again? I can't think of the name right now. What's the backup coach name again?
Who?
Brunson?
No, on the Knicks.
Johnny Bryant?
Johnny Bryant.
Yeah, Bryant. Yeah. People wanted him as a coach and etc. But this season, you have to give Thibs his props.
Yep.
I mean, if you are a reasonable Knicks fan, you have to give him his props. The minute distribution is much better. He's trusting more on the young guys, which is what we wanted from him. And like you said, last season, I can't recall Thibs I can't recall Thibs writing up any successful out of bounds plays coming out of timeout last season. But I also think that was because he had Burks at point guard. He didn't have a legit point guard.
True.
And I think that was part of the reason as to why, he didn't really have successful out of bounds plays last season. But this season, yeah, it's successful out of bounds plays off of timeouts. Minute distribution is much better. His rotations are much better. He's trusting the young players. I mean, that's all we can really ask for Thibs. And if he continues like this, he's going to save his job, to be honest about it, if he continues like this.
Yeah. Ian Begley kind of wrote earlier in the year that Tom Thibodeau kind of he knows what's happening. And if the Knicks lose and they don't play the young guys, he knows that, he might be in some type of trouble. So you have to think that the front office at some point got to him and they put the exact amount of pressure on him. I know people were up in arms earlier because Leon Rose in his interviews said he gives Tom Thibodeau full autonomy and it's his choice who he plays. But I still feel like that came with a caveat, and I still feel like they talked to him, but they just didn't want to publicly say that we're telling Tom Thibodeau who to play. Because what right front office would do that? What front office would get in front of the camera and say, yeah, if Tom Thibodeau doesn't play the youth, we're going to have a problem. Like, kind of undermines the coach. So I can see them having that conversation and not really telling Alan Hahn that on a one-on-one interview.
I was on that train to fire Tibbs last season. I was loud and vocal about it because I think the job that he did deserved it. This season, I believe that he also deserves an entire year to finish out to see what coach is he. Is he closer to what he was when he was coach of the year, or was it last year where all of his bad habits became consistent game in, game out? But really the deciding factor will be the playoffs and the play-in.
Yeah.
His coaching acumen, when he won coach of the year that first season with us, when he got to the playoffs, everything went out the window. The defense faltered. He was back to ISO Randle. The substitutions were awful. The way that he managed Elfrid Payton's minutes were awful. The way that he couldn't contain Trae Young he got out-coached by Nate McMillan in every single faculty. And we had home court advantage and we lost 5 games. So he went from a coach of the year candidate. He didn't bump in the first round of the playoffs as a 4th seed. So what he does in the playoffs to me will be the real indicator of how we move forward with him next summer. I think he needs the entire season to be able to play the season and see how he does in terms of rotations and giving young guys minutes. But the real test will come in the playoffs or the play-in.
Yeah, I agree. That'll be the real test. You made a good point earlier, Ryan, about having the right point guard. He's a very point guard heavy type of coach, and he gives him a lot of leeway to do things on the fly, read and react type of offense. And I think, us not having point guard definitely limits his kind of creativity. But, so I think him having a point guard in Jalen Brunson is going to help us a lot. Because I feel like Jalen Brunson is the type of guy who can actually make that call on the fly and not rely on Tom Thibodeau. So it'll definitely help. But at some point, I still want his input, and I would like to see him kind of like, evolve on the offensive end side of the ball when things get a little bit predictable, like the Atlanta Hawks do, like Tyronn does. So I don't know. That's the next evolution of Tom Thibodeau if he chooses to evolve. But so far so good. And sorry, Mikey, I saw the Mikey from Lower East Side. I saw you was on the call. I kind of saw it too late. Otherwise, I would have got you in here earlier. But thanks for calling in. We'll be here next time, though. If you're still here, you can still call, or we can just wrap it up. Either or. All right? But, yo. Knicks win. Knicks win. Gotta love a Knicks win on a Friday Knicks. And you know it's a big deal? Because the chat was jumping today, okay? The chat was jumping. We was all excited for the Friday night Knicks win. 130 points. 130 points.
Let's go.
Assist. Fast break points out the wazoo. How many people in double figures? I think we had like 7 or 8 people in double figures.
It was 6.
Six players in double figures. Great game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yo, I think it's a good time to wrap it up. That's our show. All right. Salute to the chat once again. Winston Ellis, Kerry Cox, Margaret Edwards. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. Next game is Monday. Who we facing Monday, guys?
Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic. Time to eat. Time to get on this winning streak. Especially, considering, the first 10 games of the season is pretty rough. So the teams that we have to beat, we have to beat.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We have to beat. So hopefully it's more the same when we play the Orlando Magic and those guys. Yeah, Paolo versus Obi is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that dude already dropped I think he dropped 25, 5 and 5, or at least he had a stat line similar to that in his first game. So I mean, so far, dudes look like the real deal.
Yeah, Franz Wagner's are playing really well too for them.
Yeah,
yeah, not for real. He stepped up for sure. He stepped up to the next level. So listen, I don't want to underestimate anybody. But we should smack them. We should definitely be smacking them. I think that's a W in the book. This is my opinion. All right. But that is our show. Ryan, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Sir G is chillin'.
Sir G is chillin'.
That's SIRGCHILLIN. You can find me at Sir G's Corner. Content coming soon. And also you can find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT.
All right. And Lee, Mr. Mr. ESPN? Lee ESPN. Lee ESPN. Where can they find you, Lee ESPN?
Well, you guys badgered me again on Twitter, so I'm on there now, and I'm always enjoying the conversation the three of us have, roasting each other and posting memes. I'm at @Lee Escobedo, LEESCOBEDO. Come find me and drag me for my hot takes, and you can always find me on Deadspin and SB Nation Posting and Toasting. Had a bunch of articles come out last week on why the Nets are the new Knicks. A little ode to Carmelo Anthony being a free agent. Had my picks in for Deadspin for all the major season awards. Me and Fritz were going on back and forth on Twitter. And shout out to Fritz. I love Fritz, man. He's a man behind the curtain. Big shout out to him.
Absolutely. Yes, oh, yo. Also, Ryan. We haven't done this in a while. Bruh pick. Guess what the bruh pick is today, Ryan?
I mean, there was a few tonight. I mean, there was Hamidou Diallo who airballed a free throw.
Oh, come on.
That was definitely a bro.
Use that home.
Dude, Amadou, there's levels to airballs, right? Like sometimes you shoot a foul shot and you barely miss the rim. He missed the rim by like 3 feet.
Yeah.
What happened there? I don't.
Dude is just a terrible free throw shooter. Like the way he was shooting free throws, I was like, yo, if there was no such thing as foul trouble, if it was unlimited fouls and no team fouls, I would have been like, yo, just foul this dude every time down the court. He's gonna miss all his free throws. They're gonna score no points.
Absolutely. Him, Shaq, Mitch, send them all. All right, yo. That is our show. You already know what it is. Like and subscribe if you like the channel. We'll be back. We'll definitely be back Monday. I'm thinking about doing like a preview show on Sunday to kind of preview the Magic game if you want to kick it with us. I'm thinking about doing something like that. Starting to sprinkle in some preview shows every now and again. So I might be back. We might be back Sunday. So check back in. All right. But
Let's go.
Definitely check us out at the Knick Of Time Show.com to get your snapbacks. All right. You can listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And you can follow us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick Of Time Show on Facebook, and the Knick Of Time Show on Instagram. And if you want 7 free days of Fubu TV, all you gotta do is click the link. All you gotta do is go to FubuTV.com/KOT and it'll bring it to a screen. It'll say 4 KOT followers. You click that thing right there and you get MSG for free for 7 days on Fubu TV. And if you decide to keep Fubu TV, it will help us out. It'll help us get a little coin. You will get MSG. And you don't have to use that trash MSG Go app, all right? Because we already know that thing is no good, all right? So definitely do that. Check out FubuTV.com/KOT for free MSG for 7 days. All right? That is our show. And guess what, guys? As always,
Shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
it's a mess out here in these Knicks YouTube streets. That's our show. We out of here.
Peace.
Peace, fellas.
York, New York, big city of dreams.